somebody
So how
say.
did Doctor Who come about for you then? Was it just a case of an audition,
Well, it was
or was it you knew someone who mentioned it, or an agent?
it was well, it was from that I got an agent, really, and from that agent I started working with Jeremy Beadle and did about 6 series of Beadles about, as the friendly man from the council who would turn up and saying, I'm sorry, what's the problem?
Yeah. We used to watch that with
Did you not get the letter? Okay, well, we are building an artesian well in your garden.
I
So
used to love
would you like it over here, or would you? Is it the wrong colour? I mean, I don't see what your problem is. Wind-up merchant, basically.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
And then from that, I got offered. I was invited to audition for a play called a TV series called Radio Phoenix, which was all about a commercial radio station on the South Coast. And I worked on that for about 6 months. It was a long series, and one of the directors on that was a guy called Matthew Robinson. And in 1983, he rang me up, and they had slated a production of Resurrection of the Daleks with Michael Wisher as Davros and another director directing it. But thankfully, due to the BBC technicians, a strike was called, and everything was shunted back a month. By which time the director was on another project. Michael Wisher was on tour in New Zealand or somewhere. And Matthew Robinson was brought in to take over. And he basically just rang me up and said, do you know anything about Doctor Who? I said, hey, yeah. I mean, I was 16 when it started. I was Geek Central, Hartnell, Troughton, Daleks, all of that. He said, oh, you know about the Daleks? I said, yeah, absolutely, yeah. He said, and Davros. I said, who? Because I stopped watching after, because I was at university and then getting a life. And, I mean, if there were no recorders and all of that sort of stuff then, I didn't know who Davros was, because I missed on Pertwee, I missed on Tom Baker, So he said, well, come and have a look at this. He sat me down in front of Genesis and said, that's him. Do you want to do him? No, I was going to say no. And I thought, actually, I was fascinated because I was so used to working on microphones that for me, this is like doing an audio job but on TV, because you're having to create the character behind that mask and push that through. So everything, the whole concept, the whole dynamic of the character has got to come through the voice, which, so whatever's happening on the outside, and in those days, the masks were very immobile, that had to come through the mask,
I actually have 2 questions based on exactly what you just said, because I was wondering, how difficult was it to work under that mask? And so what I also said was, did they have to model over your face to make the mask, or were you given one that was already made, or was it literally sculpted for you? How was it done?
No, it was, I mean, bless him, Dave Goodison suffered from the fact that he took over Michael Wish's mask when they did Destiny of the Daleks, and it just didn't fit. It was wrong. And when I came, I think that had probably fallen to pieces anyway. So they made a brand new mask, remodeled. I sat with alginate all over my face, straws up my nose, plaster of Paris all over me, and then they made the mold from that. So yeah, it fitted like a latex glove. So in a sense, you didn't really notice how hot it was till you took it off, and then all the water just poured out, And I mean, I don't suffer from claustrophobia, thankfully, because it is a very claustrophobic effect, and all you can see is through, tiny little slits in the eyes, and it's totally binocular vision. It's only that, you can't see, there's no peripheral vision at all because you're bolted into that chair. You can't move your head. Everything is that direction. So it actually affirmed or informed the character as I played it, because you're inside this thing and it's not very pleasant. It's physically restricting. You're in this thing and, you can sense the rage building, So, getting the voice and getting the character was relatively simple from behind that mask.
Yeah.
Also, I found it amazing that I'd be in rehearsals and I'd be wandering around like this, pretending to be Davros with my hand and all this. Then they put all the costume, and people who spend all day say, "Hi Terry, how are you? All right," would just walk past me and blank me, and and they disappear to do it. I'm going, can I get out of this? I kind of need a pee. maybe. Where have you all gone? Yeah. You just got to get, you're a prop, you're pushed into the corner of the room, you know. But excuse me, this is not coronavirus, this is wet. Trust me, I've had this for months. But yeah, so yes, it informs the way you played the character. And yeah, it was a brand new mask, which then they remade every time I did. Well, every time I did it, they did a new mask, because as soon as you finish, the mask disappears off to some exhibition somewhere. You know, it was great that just recently Mike Tucker, who's the model unit, you know, manager for Doctor Who, he rang me up to say, "I've just discovered your head in a cupboard." And a couple of years ago, he found my original head mold and the mask mold that Stan had put together, and it was still in good enough condition for to be able to get some pulls off it, which they used to restore and recreate the Davros models, or the Davros figurines that they had in the Doctor Who exhibition. So and using my original chariot, which they'd found again, and I knew it was mine because it got little panels, and I knew where they all were, and the original costume, which was Michael Wisher's, but I wore it as well, with slightly extended sleeves. Perhaps it got shorter arms, I don't know. But anyway,
when you were in Doctor, did you actually get to work with Sylvester McCoy? Because I know you were in the same story, but you weren't physically in the same room with each other. It was a video link. Did you actually work with Sylvester? Because I know with Peter Davison and Colin Baker, you were in scenes together. But you were actually in the same room when you did that, or was it filmed separately?
Well, I was in the same studio. He was on the other side on a video link, and I was over here on the set of the Dalek ship. You know, so we were talking to each other.
And then put it together, wouldn't it? Probably film it.
And
so on. So
yeah. No, they did it in real time. I mean, because I could see him on a screen, so they were playing it into me. So we were interacting. But I'd worked with Sylvester several times before, in theatre. I mean, we'd done a number of Shakespearean plays together in Coventry, and I mean, I'd known him from the days when he was working on Ken Campbell's Roadshow, you know, and stuffing ferrets down his trousers, you know, and you know, so yeah, we've known each other a long time, you know, and Colin I got to meet, you know, by being in the show, as with Peter, but Sylvester I knew beforehand.